old mainstream media is having to backtrack when it comes to Devin Haney, Vasily Lomachenko, and they are not happy about it at all. I bring up this article to show you once again how hard they tried to paint Devin Haney, or how much they wanted to paint him out as somebody who was going to be ducking Vasily Lomachenko. And in this article, it basically brings up how Devin Haney didn't mention Vasily Lomachenko's name. So therefore, Devin Haney must be scared or timid of Vasily Lomachenko. All right. One thing that I want you to keep in mind, look how sharp and keen they are on sifting out or detecting if somebody doesn't want to fight, simply based off of when Devin Haney beat Kambosos. Do you see how they zeroed in on, well, he didn't mention Lomachenko's name, so therefore he must be scared. Where were these keen eyes and ears and experts when Lomachenko gave up his belt? Do you see how quick that they're trying to latch on to a certain narrative just because Devin Haney doesn't mention Vasily Lomachenko's name? So they're basically trying to put it out there that he must be intimidated or scared of Vasily Lomachenko, trying to put that duck narrative out there. And the reason why the mainstream media and these people are so quick to put the duck narrative out there, because they know when it comes to boxing, as boxing fans, and I'm talking about everybody here, so I'm not excluding anybody, I'm talking about everybody. You guys are quick to believe the ducking black fighter narrative. They know that you guys are eager to run with that narrative. They know that you will take little to no pushback. You won't say anything, and you jump at the opportunity to be able to believe these kind of things. Mainstream media knows that. So they know that they can put a fighter up here, no matter how decadent they are, no matter how much they have achieved, no matter how many times they have went behind the lines, no matter how many times they have beat fighters that are bigger than them, no matter how many pound for pound fighters they have beat, even if they beat more world champions than anybody in boxing, they still would try to paint you as a ducker because they are aware that the boxing fans, you guys are so quick to believe and you want to believe that. So they know that they can push this off on fighters that look like Devin Haney, and you guys will eat it up and run with it. The only time you guys do push back, and keep in mind, I'm not excluding anybody. I'm talking about all boxing fans. The only time that you guys push back or try to fight against that narrative is when it's a fighter that doesn't look like Devin Haney. You could try to avoid these conversations. You can get upset that somebody like me is always going to remind you of the racial bias in boxing. But the only thing I'm doing is keeping your perspective and how you're viewing things honest. Okay? Because you need to keep it in that realm, because these are the elements that you're leaving out when they so-called are judging these fighters. Now, one thing that I didn't like that they're doing currently right now is basically saying how Lomachenko doesn't look the same just because Jermaine Ortiz had a good showing of himself. Lomachenko looked like the same Lomachenko to me. Okay? He didn't look any different. He didn't look any slower. The difference is you guys put Lomachenko up against somebody who can actually fight back with him. That's actually a good test for Vasily Lomachenko. Those were the kind of tests that we've been asking that they put Vasily Lomachenko up under before the greatest of all time, before the #1 pound for pound, before he's the best fighter since this. This is what we asked you before. And one thing that mainstream media has shown you, every guy that they have anointed as being the one they have been wrong about, that they eventually had to eat their words. Why? Because they chose to try to build up a fictional reputation of this boxer, instead just being honest with their skill set and where they're at. They just should have been honest with Vasily Lomachenko when it came to the boxing fans. But they always must maintain this illusion that fighters that look like this are the best. These are the greatest of all times. These are the ones that got the most courage. These are the ones that got the most heart. These are the ones that are pushing the sport forward. These are the ones that are fighting the hard fights. They always have to maintain that. So now, mainstream media is in a position where they're going to have to eat all that stuff up. You see where they put Clarissa Shields, right? Clarissa Shields, as far as female on the ESPN list, is the #1 pound for pound fighter, right? You got to know how ESPN work. ESPN can't have the #1 female pound for pound fighter be black and have the #1 male pound for pound fighter also be black. So as soon as Clarissa Shields got her spot, they got rid of Devin Haney. This is how they work. And like I said, if you don't choose to include this element, you're going to be missing out on a lot of what you can understand about boxing. This is a very color-driven sport. It doesn't have to be, but this is a very color-driven sport. This is why you have those articles trying to pretend like Devin Haney is ducking somebody who basically ducked him, who basically gave up a belt to avoid him. Now, their main new goal, their main new objective is they feel that Devin Haney is a superior fighter. So from now on, what we're going to do right now is we're going to try to put it out there in the world, just like we try to put it out there to you, that, that Devin Haney was scared of Lomachenko. Now we have to put out here to the world that Lomachenko is not the fighter that he used to be, that Lomachenko is a little bit older, he's a little bit slower now, that 135 is too big for him, and that if Devin Haney does beat him, he beat a person that was in a weight class that was too big for him because he's too small for, that was old and that was on a decline and wasn't no longer the fighter that he was. This is now what they're ready to serve up to Devin Haney, because they now have got the understanding that Lomachenko can't beat Devin Haney, just like they had the feeling in the beginning when he was a mandatory. So the old school mainstream media, this is what they're having to have to do now. The problem is we have dressed this guy up. We have put him over Ali. Hell, we even told him we think he would give Mayweather trouble. Now, when you think about and you look at the stuff that they said, you realize that it was absolute asinine. It's just the fact that they just don't like to see y'all shine, man. They don't like for y'all to be, they can't stand for you guys to be good at anything. I mean, if we're going about talking about America, America can't stand to see you good at anything. In case you don't know about America and being a person of color, their main objective is to downplay anything that you do that is seen within a positive light, anything that you do that forces people to look up to you or admire you. They want to try their best to try to take it away, to try to provide an excuse of why you're able to do so. And it's really not that great once you consider A, B, and C. That's all America has ever done with anything about your history as a brown person walking this planet, is to downplay every contribution, to underplay everything that you have ever done, and to not give you credit for nothing. You know what I'm saying? And whatever we do give you credit for is credit that you're going to have to share with the rest of the world. We all have to be allowed to be included on whatever the world might be giving you props for. You have to share it with everybody. This is why everything that you create, they're mad if you don't share it with everybody. They'll exclude you from everything, but they'll get mad when you don't share what you create. They're mad if you don't allow everybody to participate in hip hop. That's not fair. But they can keep you out of country music and they can keep you out of several other clubs. Hell, you even got sundown towns that still exist. They don't care. As long as everything that you have and everything that you made, we all can share that accomplishment. What we do, we want credit for. What you do, we want everybody to able to get credit for. This is why boxing is a perfect reflection of society. So if you ever want to know how society is and how society works, you look at boxing. It's the perfect sport that represents American society. So now the old school mainstream media is having to eat their words. So now they're trying to set the table for Vasily Lomachenko being an old, deflated ass fighter, because they don't want no more credit to come to Devin Haney. He's already undisputed. The last thing we need him to do is to defeat the guy that we say was better than Mayweather, that was better than Muhammad Ali, that was better than Roy Jones, that was better than every other fighter that we said that anybody could possibly think of. Now it's time to destroy the same legacy that we built up to make sure that this colored fighter doesn't get the optimum credit. Everything I told you was 100% facts. Only haters and people who love to dwell in that world will get offended by what I'm saying. So if I did manage to anger you at some point in this video, you are exactly the human being that I'm talking about. Like, comment, subscribe. Bruce Vane, I'm out.